Well, welcome everybody, and this is really exciting. We have our Slovenian friends. Look at their spread. Oh my gosh, you guys say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
That was an impressive.
A lot of you have already seen Sasha, Tina, and Irvin before, but this might be your first time actually meeting them. My Slovenian friends, why don't you say hello and whatever you want to say.
Dobar dan.
Dobar dan.
Dobar večer.
Dobar večer.
Yes.
It's 11 p.m.
Oh, 5 p.m.
Yes.
Yes, buddy. Yeah, it's dobar večer, which would be good evening in our language. Can you all hear us well, by the way? Can
Yes.
you just get thumbs up or a nod? Yeah.
Very
Good. Yeah.
Very good. So, who
Okay.
goes first? Sasha.
Somebody has to go first. Welcome to the happy hour. We're going to take an hour now, I suppose, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah.
To just persuade you to come and visit. There's a couple of things we want to show you. There's a couple of things we want to tell you about, and we basically just want to have fun with you people. That's all there is to it. We're misguiding, dearly misguiding, and this is the closest relative of the guiding that we can get to now, and it's just a brilliant opportunity to keep the travel dream alive.
Yes.
We are basically compensating the deprivation of traveling with food. Yeah, it's what we do, wine and food, and we're gonna be talking about that
Quite a bit.
later. Yeah, by the way, my name is Ervin. The way we pronounce it in Slovenia is Ervin. You can call me Irvin, Irv, or as my extended family calls me, Erki. That will do as well. Yeah.
See, I didn't even know about that one, so I'll just give him I'll call him from now on like this. So I'm Tina. I'm the third member of this team. We actually are not just co-workers, we're also very good friends.
True.
We've known one another for more than, I would say more than 15 years.
Yeah.
Just to maybe sum up a little bit, Sasha and I are partners in life and crime. We also have two little boys, well, they are not that little anymore, 13 and 11, both eager hockey players. And we are just very excited because on Monday they went back to school after 4 months of being in lockdown. And they finally went to play hockey again. So we are very, very excited. Sasha and Erwin have been co-workers for about 10 years on the ski field in the winter.
13.
13,
Oh,
14,
sorry.
13
See?
and counting.
Yes.
13 and counting. Yeah.
And we actually, both Sasha and I did tours for Rick Steves. We still do tours and we hope to do them in the future as well. This is also how we know Chris, how we know Karen. I know some of you are doing Tuscany. This is how we know Patrick as well. He's been in Slovenia several times already. He came here to ski.
He actually slept on this couch.
Yeah, you can tell Patrick if you see him that you've seen the couch where he slept. But yeah, I would say we're very thankful to Chris that she's giving us this opportunity to not just work, but also to show the beauty of our country, because it's something that a lot of people are not aware of. We are not on the major, I would say, draw. We are not a major draw for tourists. But I think it's a shame because it's a really wonderful place to go visit. It's very charming and beautiful. And if you agree, we maybe show you a little bit of where our virtual tour will be taking you.
Should I show the video now? Or
I think so, yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Dobar dan, I'm Ervin.
My name is Tina.
Hi, I'm Sasha.
Welcome to the virtual pilgrimage tour through Slovenia. Join us.
We made it to the end. Well, not quite. The end is where my finger is pointing. Monte Luzari, or Sveta Visharja, the way we call it. See you in Slovenia. Until then, stay curious.
The thing is that we are not covering a lot of distance when it comes to the just being on the road. Walking distance, it's a little different, but as far as driving goes, we're not covering a lot of distance yet. We are changing the environment, 3 times? Completely different environment in a couple of miles of driving. We're going from a relatively flat terrain, which is surrounded by the 3 mountain ranges, the 3 major mountain ranges of Slovenia. Then we go into a lake valley, which was carved out by a glacier. And then we carry on to a mountain peak, which is a little over, almost 7,000 feet tall. So it's just, there's a lot in a very tiny little distance.
And we are also covering a lot of interesting facilities. One of them is Planitsky Ski Jumping Hill Resort, which actually hosts annual ski flights, not ski jumps.
What do you mean ski flights?
That's for the big boys, I guess. It's for the privileged ones, which means that you fly over 200 meters. The world record is 253 meters.
Which is about 750 feet, something like
or
that.
Or if we translate that into the seconds, it's like 7 seconds in the air.
So what those boys do is they take their speed in, right? They take off and then they jump over an extremely steep landing area, and they are in the air for about 7.5 seconds, waiting for the best, hoping for the best, I guess. Just to give you an idea, if you watch Winter Olympic sports, the usual jumps in the Winter Olympics, they take about 3 seconds. Yeah. This is practically twice the time.
Oh my God.
And the distance. Yeah. So it's.
And what's I think also fascinating in our country, we're very small. So only 2 million people in total. So we basically know almost everybody in the country. Not everybody, but a lot.
Just about.
And I think what we managed to do is to actually get on board a few locals as well who will share their knowledge and passion. You know, we have a dear friend who's a Michelin star chef. We have a few really good experts in cooking that will show us their skills. And we have a few more surprises. So there's really a lot of those. I would say you won't be seeing just our faces, but you'll be hearing also from some other people, from real local people, with a bit maybe harsher accent.
We'll totally be able to tell.
They are cute. They are cute, and you could just, enjoy the time that we'll spend with them. And I think it's definitely a worthwhile. I think a lot of people will be surprised by the immense beauty, about the greenery, about the nature, about the high peaks, and also the cleanliness of the water, the cleanliness of the country in general. Those are just a few gems.
And Tina, I love that you mentioned that the fact that it is such a small country and you're able to have personal connections with these people, a lot of these very interesting people to visit, and how lucky you are that you have that setup, especially during the pandemic. As you know, it's been tricky. Like when we did the one with Patrick in January, I don't think he talked to anybody. And I'm not blaming him at all. It was like he said, he did talk to his baker. That's right. He had a baker connection and so on. But, plus he was in the middle of nowhere, which at the time of January was perfect, and so I'm excited to meet some of your friends and see some of these contacts you have. And Tina, will you talked to me about this the other day. I thought it was really fascinating that in Slovenia, according to the Michelin guide and some of these other like gourmet guides, was really kind of like, deemed not worthy or whatever. And would you say in the last 5-10 years that there's been
I would say probably the biggest push happened in the year 2017. This is when our chef was actually featured in Netflix series Chef's Table. Her name is Ana Roš, Anaros, with the little hook on the top. Well, we might have a language lesson, don't worry about that. And it was a big boom because everybody wanted to see where she is, where she works. So, and in the next year, she was already proclaimed the best female chef of the world.
Wow.
And people come to Slovenia to visit her restaurant. Actually, we have a few things that come from her restaurant. Now, a lot of our chefs are making deliveries to home places because restaurants are still not open. So we have some of her cheese. We have one cheese that has been aged in a ground cellar, but underground, like under the
cave,
earth, in a cave. And then we have an aged cheese called Tolmin's cheese, which is aged for 3 years, and it's kind of like Parmesan, but a bit different.
Are these cow cheeses?
Yeah, all cow cheeses. And then to put it on cheese, we have some apple butter that she actually made to kind of combine it together. And it's delicious. And you can just order it from her restaurant and you can eat it at home. A lot of our chefs actually ventured out in these pandemic times to a lot of big chain supermarkets. And they have their own lines over there. So we can buy, let's say, her bread for €2.49, and we can just bake it in our oven. And it feels like you would be eating bread that Michelin star chef would prepare for you. And she received 2 stars this last year in 2020. Michelin finally came to Slovenia. And the result was 5 restaurants were graded with 1 star and 1 with 2 stars. And there was over 20 of them that were awarded Michelin plate. So it's really fun. Yeah, I think.
Can you buy it online? Yes,
Yes,
you most likely should be able
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
The question, Andrea, is whether there is a chance of the material being shipped to the United States. That is
Right.
my big worry.
Yeah.
On that note, come visit. We'll take you to her place.
Yeah. And we'll just tell you how good it is. You know, you need to trust us. We can be the test bunnies, not a problem.
What else do you have? What else do you have in front of you?
We have some sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes
and some nuts, and we have some peppers, some chips, some bread.
Simple
And
stuff.
We have some wine as well, of course.
The secret stash is over to this side of this.
Yeah, you know, one other thing I wanted to mention, that video that you all see, what impressed me, and I have never been to Slovenia, is that a lot of the scenes of the buildings, I thought I was in Alsace, and also Italy. You know, I felt very Germanic and Italian in some of the scenes that when you were going through the streets, and like the trompe-l'oeil, the beautiful paintings on the sides of the buildings, and the bright colors and the cute shutters and flowers. It's I thought I was in Colmar, you know, which is in Alsace.
You see the frescoes that are on the front of the buildings. Those were insurance policies way back when. You know, now you pay to ING and you say, hey, you know, if a lightning strikes my building, you give me this and this amount of money. Back in the day, those things did not exist. So you painted your favorite saint on the front facade of your building saying, hey, help me, please. Protect me, let me be, and let me have a successful whatever. And these are insurance company policies that were paid to traveling artists. And you find these gorgeous images all around, wherever you go.
Yeah.
And no wonder you mentioned the influences. No wonder, because Slovenia borders Italy to the west. North is Austria, east is Hungary, and down south is Croatia. So, and we're small. So, yeah.
It all mixes together and blends in. A lot of people comment when they come to Slovenia for the first time is, you know, first of all, I would say a lot of people say, oh my God, it's just like Switzerland, or I feel like I'm in New Zealand. This is how people comment. And another comment that we always get is, oh my God, I can't believe how clean it is. There's actually you can't find litter anywhere by the roads. Everything is just spotless. And we're very proud of that because I think it's important. This is what we're proud of. I think we did something well. And even our sons that are in school, I remember a few years ago, they have seen a little piece of paper lying on the road, and the little boy, he was I think 5 at that time, he said, "Mom, somebody's hurting Mother Earth."
Wow.
You know, and
Yeah.
it
Unprovoked,
yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
And we recycle. We
Yeah,
recycle
big time.
everything. Yeah, so we separate, recycle,
Yeah,
green.
Are you
The green?
yeah.
The greenest destination in 2020, the most sustainable.
The
Slovenia
most
was
sustainable in 2020.
Yeah,
yeah.
Slovenia-
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
proclaimed.
Yeah.
I understand the Germans are really great at recycling. Like
The Germans
they're-
are mad about recycling because they will put white glass into one bin and then brown glass into another bin and green glass into another bin. But
Yeah.
with all due respect, that's just being German, you know. Then the same truck picks it up, so why bother?
and throws them all together.
Although we must admit that we do have a little bit of that German thing
Yes,
in
we do.
our genes as well, because of the fact that throughout our history from about 12th century on, we have been a part of the Habsburg monarchy and then the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, more in the Austrian than the Hungarian part. And I think that's very visible, especially in this part where we will walk. You know, how maintained houses are, how neatly the gardens are being arranged, how precise and on time everybody is and hardworking. You go down the coastline, and this is for another tour. People are so laid back, very easygoing, taking a siesta. Why not? If you can do something tomorrow, you can. And this is only 1 hour of driving in between, and it's the same country. But it's a very big mix of those influences that meet exactly on this spot. So, and we'll give you some of that on our tour as well, because believe it or not, Slovenia is so small that even on our virtual pilgrimage, we'll need to venture beyond the border into Italy.
Yes, and can you talk about that? You explained it a bit. How is it that there's a little slice of Slovenia in Italy?
Trieste.
Yeah,
Is the-
not just
Well,
Trieste,
but-
everything. So
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
slice. Historically, it's, you know, you have to know that this part, mostly the western part of the country, is very mountainous. And people didn't have cars. There were no roads built. So, and they were just going to where they felt safer, where they felt that they found something common. They needed some fertile soil in order for their families to survive. And they just found something that is similar to where they were coming from. And some of those little islands are located, if you will look at the map, when we give you the map, you can look that there's like little tiny islands in Italy, and most of them are on hills, on higher grounds. So also our final destination on the tour is high up above. When down in the valley, people are mostly all Italian, 90% of the inhabitants. You go up the mountain, there's 10% Italian and the rest is Slovenian. So
Okay.
it's really interesting. So we've
So
been
when-
always this mountain folks, mountain
Yeah.
people, shepherds.
When would that have happened? Like the
This is a thing that happens from the Roman Empire onwards. Our border with Italy today is a linguistic border that existed back in the 1st century AD.
okay.
Yeah.
Because the Latin population would populate the flat terrain,
Yeah.
and we would be the ones that were pushed, not pushed, but by, as far as history says it, by our choice, we went up the hills because we felt, our forefathers felt safer.
And you-
that,
Yeah.
so it's a historic thing that just sort of evolved into what it is today. And,
Yeah.
you know, we figured out our way to live higher up, made it into our own culture, I guess. I mean, when you just look at the cheeses that we have in front of us, we figured something out, I suppose. And, you know, the flat terrain, it's very, very clear when you look at the Slovenian-Italian border, how the mindset was and how things went.
So you weren't banished to the hills by the Italians?
No,
Not really.
no. It was more choice than force.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the wine a little bit, since we talked about
Which one? I'm eager to open one. Let me know.
Yeah.
Where are we going,
Yeah,
Chris?
he was commenting that it's really weird to sit in front of,
An empty
Empty
glass.
glass. Empty glass. Doesn't look too good.
So I would thinking, if I may, to open up a Reforschko.
Which one is that? Sorry.
Reforschk.
Oh yes, the Reforschk.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I couldn't get the same label as you did, so I got a relative. Erwin will just say this is the magic of having somebody on board that knows what he's doing. So this is, by the way, 2020 Decanter silver medalist.
Oh.
It's right here.
Yeah.
It's gonna focus. Just give us a second.
Wait. Yeah.
There's the medal.
Wow.
Yep. So we're kind of happy. By the way, speaking of wines, we have 3 very distinct wine regions in Slovenia, and they all sort of give something else. And we're going to open up Reforschk. Now in Slovenia, we have 2 varieties when it comes to Reforschk. It's either this one, which you will get the same story you will get in Italy. Okay, it's the same grape, it's the same variety, and you know, as with cooking, every household has its own recipe, and things are different due to the mineral contents in the soil and the climate and all sorts of the science that happens behind the wine. And then with us in Slovenia, and only in Slovenia, we have this one, which now Erwin will play with, just to zoom in. And it's called Teran, T-E-R-A-N, which is exactly the same grape as in this one, only that it grows on Terra Rossa. If anybody has ever traveled to Tuscany, if everybody was ever in the Croatian peninsula of Istria, and there's a couple of other areas in Europe where you find this iron oxide-rich soil, which is called Terra Rossa, a red soil because of the oxide. And when the Reforschko grows on the Terra Rossa, it's called Teran, terra, from the soil. So it gives it completely different chemical predispositions and everything. But we're going to go with Teran. With Reforschko, sorry, because it's much more available. And you can get it in the States as well, I'm sure. Not this one particularly, but there's other options that are available in the States. Chris, you want to...
So I was just going to say, I'm just learning about Slovenian wines. I was actually really shocked that I could find some in Minnesota. I thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to find any. Well, turns out, Amy Klobuchar, you all know who she is. And I did not know this. Tina let me know that Amy's dad has Slovenian roots background. And anyway, there's a Slovenian cultural society in Minnesota, not far from my home actually. And I'm not sure how, I think it's kind of a loose federation. But anyway, I found a wine shop that had quite a few Slovenian wines because the local group had requested Slovenian wines to be brought in. And I just wanted to say something really quickly. So I know that a lot of the grapes are in Slovenia we are familiar with as Americans, and some we're not. Like this Reforschk is something brand new for us, but there's also Ferment and CV Pinot, which is like a Pinot Gris.
It's a Pinot Grigio.
Yep. And then Rabula.
Rabula is endemic to Slovenia.
Yeah. And then there's also Sauvignon and Blaufränkisch.
Blaufränkisch is endemic. Modra Frankinia. Yeah, it's ours.
Okay.
We sort of claim it to be ours.
And then one last thing I want to say before you talk about it. I found this interesting, and this was in my wine Bible that I showed you. That in Slovenia, the average person drinks 11 gallons of wine, or 43 liters of wine per year per person.
True. Yeah. I don't drink any. So there must be someone drinking my share.
They're pulling the load. Whereas in the United States, so again, Slovenia was 11 gallons. In the US, the average is 3 gallons.
Come on, get your... Jesus.
I just thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
Would you people in America mind
Yeah.
partaking in the hard work we have to do?
The problem is that a lot of, it's getting more and more known that our wine is being exported into other European countries, also in the States, for the last couple of years. But in the past, there was no such thing. So, we just needed to drink it all ourselves, that it wouldn't go bad.
Yeah,
It's just
and,
a habit.
one more thing, Chris, you did not mention the consumption of schnapps, but we'll leave that for some other time.
By the way, there are 2 million Slovenians in this. By the way, if you want to compare us to a state in the US, we're about the size of New Jersey, just to give you an illustration of how things are around here. There's a vineyard for every 70 people in Slovenia. So there's one vineyard per 70 persons in Slovenia.
That's great.
So, yeah, we have 3 distinct wine regions, as I've said. I'm just going to focus on the Reforsk because, speaking of wines, what I love doing on my tours and what I love doing whenever I guide, wherever I go, is to recommend. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just recommending to people to try a local Cabernet Sauvignon. Because the Cabernet Sauvignon is a wine that you are most likely familiar with. And then you see that difference in the terroir, as they call it, in the soil, in the how the sun is and how the humidity is, and all of that magic. And then we go to something a little bit more local. So it's a play, it's a game, and it's just cool to be able to experience what Slovenia has on offer on that regard as well. So we're going Reforsk now. Now the light here is completely imperfect for no, don't bother, it makes no sense.
Sorry
for the wine, but this one will be of sort of deep rubby color. Yeah, it's supposed to be deep, it's supposed to be, and this is what vintage is it? Sorry, I didn't check.
2020, did you say?
No, it's 2018. It got the medal in 2020. So it's a 3-year-old wine. So it had a year in oak. It gets the deepness and it gets the smell as well. You can smell the oak. And this one will have ripe red fruits. Whatever red fruits you imagine, this will have the ones that are almost slightly on the way to getting rotten, just on the verge of being at their prime. And it's not a super intense wine. Smell-wise. And I get pepper, I get tar. It's crazy.
Time?
Tar. T-A-R, tar.
Oh, tar.
Yeah, I get it on this one.
Yeah.
And obviously smoke and oak from the barrels. So people goof around with wines around here, by the way. So if you're a wine person,
yeah,
you're in for a treat.
So I'm curious who else was able to find this particular wine, because I succeeded, but I'm not sure how many others were able to. Feel free to unmute yourself if you want to, talk about it. I find it really surprising because looking at the wine, by the look and how dark mine is, mine's a 20. Mine's a year younger than yours, 2016, and
2 years older.
Oh, did you send yours?
We are 2018.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's older. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Never mind.
It's the time change. But looking at it, it's so dark. Like, I don't have the best light either, but it's so dark. I thought, oh man, this is going to be a mouthful. Like big tannin, big flavor. But no, it's really soft. It's really.
This is the oak. The oak takes. If you were to have this year's, a year old, it's just gonna make the back of your tongue just go dry because it's so extremely high in tannins.
Okay. But
this one softens in the oak, and especially yours because it's older. It has there's a whole different characteristic.
It's delicious.
It's gonna have the softness to it, and yeah.
Wow.
And then when you come to that particular area where it grows, there's also a change in the wine depending on the elevation above the sea level. So the ones closest to the water will have super high alcohols and low tannins. And then the picture will switch as you go higher. So it's a play of so many factors. But this is, and by the way, we did not air this thing at all. So it's straight from the bottle, our mistake.
Yeah, I did. I invested in a little aerator thing.
Decanter, yeah, makes sense.
And so fun to play with. I don't know. Some of you might play with aerators. Do you have? Oh yeah, right, Tom. Cool. Yeah, I splurged and got myself a little. It's my favorite little toy to play with, but it totally changes the flavor, right? Yeah. What was I just gonna say about it? Oh, so would you say this region, is it the Goreshka Brda?
This one is from Gorishka Brda. Yeah.
Say it in your language for me. Say it.
Gorishka Brda.
Gorishka Brda.
Gorishka. Shka. Think of shka. Gorishka Brda.
Okay, that's a mouthful.
Hey, how about Chris? Can we all unmute ourselves? And I would love to hear the members of this Zoom conference.
Yeah.
Saying Gorishka Brda.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Come on.
I should be able to. Okay, I don't know if I could do that quickly. If you guys can unmute yourselves.
Would you please be so kind and just unmute yourselves and say Gorishka Brda? I would love to hear that.
Gorishka Brda. No.
There we go.
Yes.
Gorishka Brda.
Gorishka Brda.
Yeah.
Gorishka Brda.
Gorishka Brda.
Okay,
Very good.
mute yourselves. You have passed the Slovenian language lessons. Oh, brilliant stuff. Yay. Good. Well done, everybody.
When we talk about Gorishka Brda, that's one of those areas that we said it's an island, kind of high up on the hill, tucked in Italy, but still a Slovenian territory. So it's a wonderful area. A lot of people comment when they come that it's like Tuscany. Very similar. And it's I would say, the area where most of our fruit trees would grow. It's our orchard, I would say, the orchard of Slovenia.
So
by the way,
what I read, go ahead.
A side note on Reforshko, on the Reforshk. There's a challenge. I wouldn't.
Don't.
No, I wouldn't. But a legend has it, and it has. I mean, I'm beyond, just away from being able to prove that. But legend locally, where the Reforshko grape is grown, has it that if you have 5 bottles of it, good luck surviving that. But
People do.
people do. There's people who do. I'm convinced of that. Apparently, the wine, the color of the wine is so intense that it's going to show in your sweat. So you put on a white T-shirt and it's going to be dyed in red or purple or pink or whatever you want to call it. So it's super intense. By the way, both Reforshk and Teran, they need company. They need friends. Preferably that's cured meats. Aged cheese will do as well. So these are wines that are heavy. They're big hitters. They're sort of all over you. You need something to eat with those wines. We were just online with Chris the other day about the Pinot Noir, this one, the Purus. This is a simple one. This one you can drink just randomly, right? Yeah.
I was able to find it too.
There we go. Yeah.
You can see
Same thing.
Palush.
So,
Palush is how you say it, yeah?
Purus.
Purus.
There's a U under the P, so yeah, Purus. This one you can have easily. This is a light wine. This is a super light variety, and it on the aroma, it's like a fruit salad. But these are easy wines, but these are the big names, and you just have to. You have to eat with those things, otherwise, if nothing else, if it's not going to be a purple T-shirt, they will at least give you a hefty hangover. So,
And I got 2 of this same brand, this Pulus. One was a Pinot Grigio and one was a Pinot Noir, and they're both lovely. And This was interesting. The gal that sold me the Pinot Grigio, look at it's orange.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And she said that it's the grapes, the skins were allowed to sit with the juice to give the flavor or the color. And so she said it's really, treated a little bit like orange wine, like we were just talking about the other day. Do you want to just mention that? I mean, is that kind of just, I know it's a bit of a fad and started in Georgia, but some other countries do it. But would you say that's...
I would say for the orange wines, it's a fad, and it's gonna most likely go. With all due respect to the winemakers, I respect everybody who experiments and who plays around with things. I'm not convinced it's gonna last very long because it takes an acquired taste, and
That's true.
I don't know. We've had our go with orange wines, and I'm yet to be impressed. Again, don't get me wrong. With all due respect, every palate is different. Every mouthful may be a different thing. But I'm quite frankly, it's a big deal in Slovenia. There's people who make them who will do the maceration in concrete barrels, who will play around with things, who just they experiment. They're searching for ways. It didn't really in Slovenia. Frankly, it did not take off.
Yeah, well, at least not with the locals. We do.
On
have
the other
some
hand,
visitors.
we drink a wine which is close to a paint thinner, which is a cuvée or a blend of 2 reds and 2 whites. It comes out as a rosé. It's as sour as a lemon, and everybody loves it.
What?
Well, not everybody. Come on, at least let's say
Not everybody. Come on.
the standard part.
Okay,
of
more
Slovenia.
people love the blend than they do love the orange wine.
Yeah.
By a
definitely.
large margin. So it's
And I have not had an orange wine myself, but you said it's like a fortified wine. Is that right?
yes, yeah.
Somebody
It
said,
leans more towards a fortified wine.
Joyce and Tom, you said that sounds like the moonshine.
No, it's legal.
No, but we do have some stuff that it's much stronger than the moonshine.
Oh, we have
I would say.
our version of moonshine.
You need to know that in our country, besides the wine, there is also a lot of microbreweries. We have 2 large breweries as well that have been in work already since the beginning of the 1900s. We do have over 150 microbreweries in the country. That's a hit and a trend that's kind of picking up. And I would say the favorite thing of our country is to make schnapps. You know what schnapps is? This is what Erwin is drinking. And I mix it together with wine. It's better.
Transparent liquids, painkiller.
And also when we travel, I would say we when we have visitors, we definitely want to make sure that they are treated to at least a glass of that when they come, because it's a sign of welcome. So when you come to Slovenia, be sure that you will get it someplace along your way, because you just can't go without it.
A shot.
Yeah.
A shot, not a glass.
Not a glass.
This is water.
This is what professionals do. But
And everybody cooks it at home. Everybody does it. That has their own recipe. Actually,
my father-in-law.
We're actually going to talk about this on the pilgrimage. We're going to show you how moonshine is made in Slovenia. Only that it's legal.
Sorry.
Only the legal stuff, right?
And we use it for all kind of medicine, for medical purposes. Whenever I remember when I was growing up and my grandmother, I would have a stomach ache and she would say, "Oh, just warm it up with a little bit of sugar and eat that and you'll be fine."
Juniper berry brandy or schnapps was the thing. If you had something going on with your digestion, if your belly would give you some sort of issues, juniper berry schnapps.
Yeah. Well, in the Alps, they have Genepi.
Yeah,
same
it's
thing.
similar.
Yeah.
And then same goes with let's say the kid would be teething. A lot of times grandmas would give the new moms advice. Yeah, just dip the pacifier in the schnapps.
or wine, or wine.
We-
so
we
teach them
all-
young. Teach them young.
Oh, by the way, I don't think we're making the best first impression.
No, actually, the same things happen in the States for sure.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
rest my case.
It's
I rest
who
my
we
case
are.
on that
It's who
one.
we are.
Yeah. At least in Minnesota. So there you go.
Yeah. But you just said that you have a bit of a Slovenian minority living over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
really had no clue. But well, I mean, every state has their different groups of people that came over, from other countries. And Minnesota, we had a big influx of German.
Yeah.
And a lot of I live in a town called Scandia, Minnesota. So a lot of Swedes, Norwegians,
Yeah.
but Germans too. And then a lot of the mining towns, there were the different ethnic groups that lived in little groupings, like the Italians and the the Ukrainians and so on, Yeah. But let's maybe open it up for questions. People have
Yes.
Let's do.
yeah, we've got like 10 minutes or so left. So feel free, guys, unmute yourselves if you have something you want to ask, or if you're shy, you want to just chat, type, I'll pass it on.
We've only been in, and I won't pronounce it right, but Ljubljana and Lake Bled.
Yes.
So what part of Slovenia is this walking tour compared to where those places are?
Okay, so we will be going through Lake Bled, but this is generally in the area west from Lake Bled.
Oh, wow.
So northwest from Lake Bled, going towards the mountains. So going straight towards the Julian Alps, which is the ending of the Alps in Slovenia, the ending of the whole chain also in Slovenia. And this is where we're heading to. So northwestern part.
Northwestern corner of the country.
I would say probably one of the prettiest and the most scenic part of the country by far. Yeah.
And down to the coast?
No, not to the coast.
Oh, we're not going to. Okay.
No, not to the coast.
Next one.
Next one.
Yeah, we're planning to do Croatia in May.
Yeah, to be very frank, when we were putting this thing together, we were considering also the option of being limited with movement in regards of the COVID pandemic and all of these things that are going on. So we sort of figured out the highlights in an area where we can freely move, and we can still show you some amazingly beautiful nature and history and everything. So,
and we've been pretty much in lockdown for 4 months, and we were not even allowed to leave our municipalities, which are very tiny. And then they allowed us to travel throughout one region only, and this is the region where we will be. So we just didn't want to risk it because we didn't know what the
we
situation
just want to obey the rules and keep
March.
things moving.
But there's so much, we've been, impressed by how much material there is for 2 weeks. It's just incredible, and so much little, history that really will light up who we are and how we live. What are the major things that we follow in our lives? So I think it's unique.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, should be.
Guaranteed.
I've already signed up.
Okay.
Hey,
Thank you.
Because it just looked interesting, and all I knew about it was that's Melania Trump's home.
Yeah, but that's very far away.
Okay, well that's
not too far away.
Well,
about 2 hours.
Yeah, this is where the sour wine is.
This is where the bad wine comes from, by the way. Yeah, the pink wine.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say 2 hours is a long distance. I was telling these guys I drove to Montana last weekend, and drove 14 hours. and for them, you'd be where? Where would you be in 14 hours?
Copenhagen.
You are anywhere from
Paris.
Moscow, Copenhagen, Paris, and Madrid.
Yeah.
Or Sicily.
Or Sicily.
Or Sicily, yeah.
Yeah, if you have a boat, maybe even a little bit in Africa somewhere.
We had, working with Rick Steves and, having the time spending with Europeans and with people from the United States, we have no concept of distance, as you guys have no concept of age, so of sort of history. We were walking past from the office at Rikstiv's, and there was a building next door to it, which says it's a historical monument built in 1903. And one of our colleagues walks by and he looks at the thing and he says, "Hey, my grandma is of the same age." So for us, it's like, yeah, whatever. But, you know, when we have to drive for 8 hours to get from point A to point B,
We don't go.
we don't go.
It's too far away.
It's as simple as that.
Oh,
We
No.
had a conversation yesterday with Chris, and my son, the younger son, was sitting on a couch and he was kind of eavesdropping. He speaks well enough English that he understands what we talked about. And Chris, I was just asking you, do you remember how far you have to the first city where you live? And Chris said, "Oh, it's not far away. It's 45 minutes." And the boy was like, "Mom, that's not close." For us, really, everything is so close. So if from where we are now, we live very close to Lake Bled, so about 10 minutes drive from Lake Bled. And if we drive from our house, we have about half an hour to Italy, about 20 minutes to Austria, and about a good hour and a half to Croatia. So it's, you know, for us, really, concept of distances, just, you know,
That doesn't exist.
something that we have a very hard time dealing with right now. For us, it was so common to just, you know, we needed pasta and maybe some nicely sliced mortadella or bologna salami. You sit in a car and you drive to Italy on a regular weekly basis. Or you wanted some technical equipment or something from IKEA. The nearby IKEA is in Austria, 45 minutes drive away.
oh.
And we just sat in a car and went there. Or, you know, my sister lives in Croatia. So yeah, why not go for a weekend? You know, just drive down to Croatia. For
Or
us,
at the end of the day, go to Venice in 2.5 hours and have a day trip.
yeah, or Vienna, 3 hours, Salzburg, 2.5 hours. So everything is right there. So the concept now that we cannot do this because of the pandemic, since the borders are still relatively closed, but I think they're opening up soon. So it's just so odd because all our lives we have been just, you know, used to doing it. It was part of us. Even when we were a part of Yugoslavia, we were always able to travel. Even if we had socialism, we were always able to travel.
Yeah.
So for us, being closed down now, it's just something that we are not dealing with too well.
Yeah. No. And just there's a comment from Ernie. He's saying the first time I saw Lake Bled, I didn't want to leave. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true.
it's beautiful.
Yeah. And now it's extremely beautiful because there's no people.
There's nobody.
Which is paradox, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
But I mean, we spoke about this the other day, right? When we since we are off the hook now regarding work, we decided to make some videos about Slovenia. You can check them out on our webpage. But one of the things we did, one of the episodes we did, was about Lake Bled. And we all know it. We are all tour guides. We've been in this business for a decade or more. We've seen it in its best and also in its worst. And we had the privilege. We were allowed to go to Bled Castle, the three of us. That was it. That was the team.
because we know everybody, you know.
Because we are connected, and you know, we know people. We, you know, somebody knows who to call it, whatever. And we were on Bled Castle, and we were shooting the episode. And we had that moment talking to each other, saying, "Hey, I mean, this will not be the real deal because we are not able to show you the life and, you know, sort of this maze of a beehive of people up on the terraces or whatever." And we were kind of like, "Oh God, yeah, this may not work. People may not be satisfied, blah blah blah." And then we all had this moment of just enlightenment when we were standing on our separate corners of the castle, looking at it and going, "Hey, I have this place to myself. There's nobody else
Incredible.
but the three of us on the castle."
Yeah.
But elevation.
Yeah.
And it's just that, pum, wow. It's this
Yeah.
the whole spiel with the pandemic and the madness we have with the regulations about travel and so on. Yeah, there's a downside to it, but there's also one spiritual, I'm going to say philosophical uplift
Yeah.
to the whole thing. And, the one thing that makes us happy, and we just had a chat, 2 days ago when we were filming for you guys, we kind of had a moment of philosophical thought. And it's such a beautiful position that we are in at the moment. We are able to give you us.
Yeah.
It's long distance. It sucks not
Being able.
having the ability to sit down with you guys and have a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Yet, this magic of modern technology just allows us to come visit, and we can share our thoughts, our hearts with you. I don't know.
And it's wonderful. It really
you balance your things out in life, and it's a beautiful thing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys, or comments?
We don't bite.
Tell us more about the walking trip you have planned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we will walk in total a little over 110 kilometers, or about 85 miles. Per day, between 5 to 8 miles, I would say. Generally on flat, but also some hilly grounds. We're not going high in elevation, but we're going mostly through valleys, alpine valleys and pastures and fields. And it's going from small villages to bigger towns to not really any major city. The biggest city in Slovenia has 300,000 inhabitants, and that's the capital of Ljubljana. So the biggest city, I would say, probably is either Tarvisio in Italy and Lake Bled.
Ordovica.
With about
5,000 ish. Yeah.
So about 12,000 inhabitants. That's the largest city. We will be starting at the biggest pilgrimage site in Slovenia, which is called Brezje. This is also where Pope John Paul II had when he first came to Slovenia, when Slovenia got its independence in 1991. So this was the place where he came and had a service. And after that, we will just walk from there to Lake Bled, which is the second pilgrimage center. So these are the two live locations that we will be covering. And then in between, we'll add a lot of these little quaint villages, towns, some countryside views, some beautiful rivers, waters. We'll walk quite a big part of the tour also through the Triglow National Park.
Yep.
And as we mentioned before, we try to give you a taste of Slovenia as well, since we are considered the gastronomy destination of Europe in 2021. We want to also give you some insights into what the special dishes of the area are. We'll cover some music. We'll cover, although, I've been just watching Karen's show of Tuscany right now. Nothing beats Italian music. So we have a lot of polkas and accordion. So be ready to polka with us.
Well, that suits me. Like when I got married, you guys, I was living in Seattle, but I arranged my wedding in Minnesota, and we really we wanted everyone to want to be able to dance at the wedding. So we had a polka band, and when I walked down the aisle, I had an accordion playing.
Yeah.
You just bought our hearts right now.
It was cheap.
Yeah.
Now you lost them.
The only thing you need to give a Slovenian to have a good time is an accordion and maybe
schnapps.
a schnapps.
A shot. Yeah, done deal.
And that's it. That's what we need. But I would say maybe if we mention our highlights,
why don't we give you an idea of the expectation, right?
Yeah.
And just give you the highlights of what we would like to present. I would say for me, the highlight of this one is the small medieval town of Radovlica, which we'll visit on day 3 or day 4. Because it's just a hidden gem that is away from the major tourist resorts, and it's nobody knows about it. And when people get to it, they go, "Whoa, this is my turf." It's an old medieval thing, townish. It's small. It's 50 houses altogether, and it just has that romance of a square where you just want to sit, have a glass of wine, a cup of coffee, a cake, whatever sort of tickles you, and just sort of sit and allow yourself to embrace the environment and embrace the life. And that would be my highlight of the tour. As said, we're going to show it. I think it's day 3 or day 4. So
Yeah, my highlight comes more at the end of the walk. So I would say probably about day 12 to day 15. And this is when we get into nature, into Triglow National Park, which I think is one of the prettiest places in the entire country, with beautiful, clear, emerald colored water, with amazing mountains and peaks covered still with snow. And there have been so much snow this year that I'm sure we'll have a lot of it as well in March. With the village where my grandmother was born, with a few stories she shared with me when she was still alive. And we'll share those stories with you, you know, how she lived, what she went through as a kid when she was living there, and just, you know, the beauty of this alpine gem of Kranjska Gora. That's the town, which also is a big in sports, hosts annual skiing competitions, ski championships, ski jumping championships, cross-country races. And this is where we always go ourselves as well, to exercise, to do recreation, to go cross-country skiing, to go skiing. We have sports in our blood. I come from a big sports family, so that's why I think I'm also dragged into this whole area a lot, and I just love it. Edwin?
Well, my highlight would be a town I was born in, a town that I spent fairly big part of my life in, and it's the Lake Bled area. It's where on my mother's side, that part of the family is from, and just recalling those memories from my childhood when swimming in the lake nothing can replace those memories. And yeah, Bled. One of you mentioned that the first time you saw it, you didn't want to leave it. Yeah, Bled and the surrounding villages. Not only the lake itself and the castle and the island, but the inland is charming. And it's basically what we're going to be covering in those walks for quite some time. So, yeah,
you'll get to see it.
Yeah. And really, we really just ask you to check out that YouTube video that we prepared for you. It kind of gives you the whole overview. It gives you a glimpse of what you'll be seeing. So we're very excited about it. So we're super excited and super thankful to Chris and super thankful to all of you that will decide to join us.
What are the dates?
It's the 13th to the 27th of March. Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks long. And so some of you on here I know have already done some of our other experiences in France or in Italy right now. And the walking piece is really just an encouragement. I mean, some people are taking it to heart and they're following along and they're doing the same amount of time, or distance for each day that we're on tour. But, you could pretend you're in a coffee shop all day too. You know what I mean? I mean, it's tasting the specialties, but so it's just a piece of it, but this is a virtual experience. So it's on your honor and it's an encouragement. And I've heard from a lot of people that have taken that on and have let me know that they really loved, that it motivated them. They loved that it made them, get out and walk more and move more. And that, there's nothing wrong with that. the best thing we can all do. Our bodies are made to move, right? So
Yeah, if we can at least get you going, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
and some people just are there for the tourism piece, and that's totally fine. So, you know, and some people take it to the top degree, you know. One of our gals on the France experience with Patrick, that was a lot. There was a lot of kilometers, a lot of miles. I'll admit I didn't do them all. But like it was the first day of the very last week, and she let me know she did 170 miles. She did them all. She was done before it was over. I was like,
Well done. She must have some Slovenian roots, I guess.
Yeah.
I think she might. Yes.
Yeah, I got my 170 mile on the same day Patrick did.
Woohoo!
Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Bravo.
Bravo.
This will be an easy one. It's much shorter, so you can add to it if you want. We can give you suggestions of a lot of side trips.
Yeah, we kind of plan on those because there's, you know, it was a tough choice. First, we had a tough choice picking up the highlights, and then also a tough choice picking up the line where we are going.
Yeah.
So if you're curious about more, let us know, and we can give you a virtual experience about where to go, sort of as an extended.
Yeah. Possibly.
If you're this super avid hiker that wants to push the boundary a little bit,
Yeah.
we have options for that as well.
Jim and Arletta need those options. They've been out here cross-country skiing in Oklahoma during our bad weather. So they'll take all the excursions too.
Yeah.
Play with the weather. What can you do?
Yeah, you make lemonade.
Yeah.
True. True.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Any question? Any other question?
Again.
think
Well, questions will come up, I guess.
Oh, they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
they will.
But tell your friends, guys. And, you know, I know a lot of you are repeat customers already. And thank you. We're just so excited about these experiences. I mean, I know you guys are enjoying them. Thanks, Joyce. Yeah, I know you're enjoying them too. And it's so cool. It's so cool. And I know we're all so frustrated with how the world is right now. And this is just, you know, something that hopefully can help keep us positive and thinking ahead, because we know it will change.
Yeah.
It works, Chris.
Really? Oh,
Yes, it does. I
oh.
just watch those videos, and then when I'm out in Vermilion, South Dakota, which is not the most scenic city in the world, but it's a wonderful place to live, I try to imagine where I am on the walks, and it's just remarkable, transcending all that.
Oh.
And I just love it.
That's
I
great to
signed
hear.
up to give my PEO program on virtual traveling somewhere, which gives me enough leeway to pick and choose and say something about it. But I'm spreading the word
Oh,
in
great.
that way. And two of my
Yeah.
friends have signed up already.
Oh,
Because, yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, and there may be more.
Yeah.
It's good.
Anything else from people? We could drink together all night, probably.
Well, we should have a toast.
Yeah, let's.
What do you say in Slovenia for Sante or Salut?
It would be na zdravje. Na zdravje.
Na zdravje.
Think of nice driving. Na zdravje.
Not Travia.
Na
There you
zdravje.
go.
Zdravje.
It literally translated, it means to your health.
Na zdravje.
Na zdravje.
Jen,
Jim.
Well, I know me for one, I'm gonna buy more Slovenian wines.
May I make a suggestion?
What?
How about you come here and taste them?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yes.
asking. I'm just asking.
Oh, I'm all over it. I'm there as
Yeah.
soon as I can.
Good.
See, even Patrick was curious about Slovenian wines, and you know him, so he liked a few of those. So
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
come see us.
Well, thanks everybody, and enjoy your evening and your weekend, and tell all your friends, and hopefully, we've got about 10 people signed up already, and I'm optimistic. I know we'll have a good showing for this one too. So thank you in advance for your support. We appreciate it.